Alright, what's going on, guys? I had made a post yesterday about how I operate in trucking, and I only focus on dedicated routes. And I had a lot of questions on, hey, how do you get dedicated routes? I'm in transportation, I'm in trucking, I've been doing this for years, and I've been doing a lot of low board and non-dedicated. And how do I get something a little bit more consistent? So I wanted to make this video to go over a couple ways on how you can find some dedicated routes. And really, this applies throughout the entire transportation industry. All trucking is non-dedicated, but also there are a lot of places, and mostly all of trucking offers some type of dedicated routes as well. But you have to go for, whether you're a owner operator that leases onto carriers, or you're an owner operator that have your own authority, you're a small fleet owner. How do you find these dedicated routes? So in all sectors of transportation, whether it's supermarket, whether it's retail, whether it's, car hauling, whether it's, special minerals, building materials, etc., you can find these dedicated routes, and you can find a lot of non-dedicated. That's where a lot of times you see something on the low board is getting picked up, and it's getting thrown into the lotto machine to see, who's the closest that can take it and the fastest for the cheapest price. Right, but a lot of times when these brokers get MSA agreements with the shipper, right? They're negotiating a fixed price, and the broker's job, right? Obviously, the broker wants to live up to his commitment, provide a good service and get the load from A to B for a good price in a good manner with no headaches, with no problems, right? That's an ideal situation, and a lot of times they preference a dedicated route around that, and they'll work with close people that they build partnerships with to facilitate that. So you do have to, it is a lot of research when you're looking, right? You have to look into, go online, right? You have to know what you're looking for. When you reach out to these carriers, ask them. And now, a lot of times these carriers have a 30% dedicated, right? And a lot of those fulfillments are, their selected drivers or trucks, right? And so your route will probably be, 60% non-dedicated, 40%, 30% dedicated, but you really want 100% dedicated, and that's kind of like the ultimate goal. You could find it, right? I had a lot of success in special minerals, in the oil field. There's a lot of dedicated work as well. I mean, oil field comes with its own challenges, but if you know how to maneuver correctly, you build the right business relationships, they do have dedicated, but that's more OTR dedicated. If you're looking for more local, regional dedicated, you definitely want to do like the big box store freight to the larger retail stores or supermarkets, right? Like the Aldis and the ShopRites, etc., and the Whole Foods, right? You want to focus on those kind of areas, maybe big distributions like car manufacturing. That'll be probably more regional, a local, and this applies to box trucks as well. Right, box trucks, they can do dedicated bread routes, they can do dedicated FedEx routes, UPS routes, right? Semi trucks can do dedicated mail routes, and a lot of that is regional, local, over the road as well. But you just have to know what to look for. So I hope this video helps you out with not just, hey, it's right here. It's dedicated contracts are really everywhere. You just have to know what you will accept and what you're looking for and what you want, and how to hunt for it, right? So I just go online a lot of times. I'm Googling, I'm researching, I'm calling a lot of places, and I'm just shooting my shot trying to build relationships as I'm rolling out the trucks. But there's one secret thing that I really do is before I buy a truck, I line up the contract first, right? I'll put in the footwork on lining up my contract. And then once I have something solid, I'll make the investment, right? Because it's a more sure thing. I know the minute I buy it, I'm gonna roll it out. I already know where I'm gonna put it. I looked over the rates. I talked to recruitment, onboarding process. I already know what's going on, and the model that I use is I buy my units and I lease it on to carriers that have dedicated routes, right? And for me, that is a stable, consistent way to grow and be able to scale, because the math starts to get really easy, right? And you can just multiply 2, 3, 4 more trucks, and you can use that math to kind of continue growing in that dedicated space throughout different sectors in transportation. So if you are a fleet owner, or if you are an owner operator, or if you're a CDL driver thinking to become an owner operator, I hope you can use this information as a good starting point for you to start brainstorming as you're putting together your plan to try to find a dedicated route. But I do have a list of it. So you have the big box retail stores, freight, you have the grocery stores, supermarkets, you got some mail. We talked about the UPS and FedEx. Automotive, all right, delivery of building materials. That'll probably be regional, local, depending if they're doing some type of construction, building a new bridge, etc., etc. You got medical supplies for that's a lot of the box trucks and the vans. They do that with the dedicated routes. Manufacturing, industrial stuff, special minerals. We talked about that. Bakery goods, distribution centers throughout different towns will be a lot of more local work, good for like vans or box trucks. And then recycling. Recycling is a good regional one. If you want to go out just for 2-3 days, come back, be home for a couple days, you would want to do recycling. So I'll put together a small little list for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, just like it, comment, and then I'll reach back out to you, and then we can have a conversation on how you can get a dedicated route.